because he's like, yeah, because he has the high ground. Okay.
Bro.
Timing.
That's so sad, bro.
I haven't seen season 7 yet.
I had such a crush on her when I was younger. Like,
She's my favorite character. I love her. Oh my god.
the animation is also so good. Like, look at the facial expressions, bro.
I love the detail of his facial makeup. Or is this makeup or is it his skin? I don't know.
It's his skin.
Oh, okay.
I watched Clone Wars when I was like 11.
I finished it like 2 months ago actually. Then,
Oh, I wish to have a
was blown
first
away.
watch experience again.
I also like the textures on them. It's like such a nice style. It's like really edgy.
Every texture looks like it's painted onto a 3D surface and not trying to imitate 2D or something. It's clearly CG.
I just love how Clone Wars made Maul like such a sassy little bitch.
I really love the character of Maul. It's so much more dimensional opposed to like episode 1.
I feel like every character in the Clone Wars is so much more dimensional.
The lightsabers look really nice. They look so simple in a way. Like the light, it's not like too much, but it has such an effect.
I mean the lightsabers and like the motion blur.
The motion blur is so good! And all the pretty fire thingies.
I also like that they're both dual wielding, sort of, in a different way.
It's just the action, the choreography in this one.
Yeah, like first time this was goosebumps.
In the movies, there's so much happening and you're kind of confused, but this is like really comfortable to look at.
You can see how much Ahsoka was growing. Now she finally can stand up to him.
Yeah.
I love how you can follow every movement.
Yeah, when they like become triangles, it's so cool. Oh, that was cool.
Choreography is so good.
So nice, yeah.
He like always survives somehow.
The story, the history they have with each other. I love Clone Wars so much.
It's also so easy to follow what's happening.
So clear, but it's really fast. Like
it's very well bordered, storyboarded.
Yeah.
How they use their Jedi powers together with their like choreography and stuff.
Oh, and the contrast of his yellow eyes and her blue ones. Oh, that's cool.
Yeet.
Out of those. Oh, it's like that cartoon thing where like you see the silhouette of the character.
yeet. I like the lightsaber cut.
Yeah.
But I'm very impressed. I don't know this season.
Music star.
Compared to the ones I know, the animation game is way higher than before.
The music is
the
epic.
lighting.
Yeah.
That's such a nice frame.
Yes. Also the light from the lightsaber.
Yes.
The lighting in this scene is very nice.
Also the facial animations.
Choirs make everything way too epic.
The stakes are so much higher since they're in a place where they don't have good footing.
Yeah. And also like since we don't know if they survive, like because like in other series it's like of course this character is gonna live, but like we don't know how,
That's funny because you watched it later and this came out after Rebels, and in Rebels she exists,
okay,
therefore
then
you knew she wouldn't die, but like you wondered how did she survive.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like this.
She survives. We know that from The Mandalorian.
I know, but I can still be scared for her.
He's like, we could have worked together. And she's like, you bitch, you killed my grandmaster. No, grandmaster.
It's also really nice how they use the environment to fight.
Yeah.
I just love, like,
there's
Jedi powers make it able to just hop around and be cool and stuff.
Also it's like a very unusual environment for like to have a sword fight in.
Definitely.
Like as opposed to different Star Wars settings.
Which, like, it's a limitation, but it makes it even greater because as a Jedi you can use that, and I don't know, it's so cool.
Seeing their fighting style, the difference in fighting styles, her being like really quick and making more somersaults and stuff.
That's so scary.
I wondered why doesn't he cut the beam right there?
I think he doesn't want to kill her.
Oh yeah, true. Because he knows like what's about to come.
Yeah. I wish we would have explored what it would have been like for a Jedi and a Sith to work together, or an ex-Jedi or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The ex-Sith.
She's so cool, bro. I just love her. I simp for her so much.
I also love that they still call her Commander even though she isn't.
Yeah,
It's such a sign of respect. It's really nice.
Now, is he now unconscious?
Yeah, he is.
It's my favorite Star Wars show out of everything.
And then ending on a really nice frame.
I love, it's cool like with the spaceships, it has this like red glow inside.
So pretty!
This is a scene from the 7th season of Star Wars The Clone Wars, where Ahsoka, Tano and Darth Maul face off. This season released in 2020, 6 years after the series got cancelled with its 6th season.
The animation is based off of motion capture performances by Lauren Mary Kim and Ray Park, the later depicted Maul in episode 1 of the live-action Star Wars movies.
I felt something is different.
You felt a disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
I really like that they have this contrast of more muted backgrounds, and then they have these fire flaky thingies flying around, and the characters of course are more saturated.
Every time they do facial animation, I think it's really nice to see what the eyes are doing. You can like see her eyes like having like really minuscule movements.
It's that kind of like subtle close-up animation where there's not really much action, but subtleties that sort of hint at there's something going on in the character's mind. I always really enjoy that animation.
I love the texturing. It has like this clay or this unevenness of the surface, which is
Or
really,
like,
really nice.
As if she like put on like just body paint.
Look at how grungy these characters look.
It is like clay, which is nice.
It has like a very painterly style that looks like somebody pushed clay apart or something.
Also just like the shapes and the existence of certain sharp edges that are there.
I love her facial marking so much, and her leg hood. This is just so nice.
Somehow I could tell it was motion capture. I think maybe because you can kind of see person through the capturing. So motion capturing works. You have a motion capturing suit, which is a suit with a lot of trackers in it, and you track those trackers and then create a rig, and then you can bring that rig into a 3D program and put it onto a character. That character then does the same motion that the actor in the motion capturing suit did.
I did think that they feel a bit more weightless, because like usually without mocap you exaggerate a lot of the weight. Despite the animation coming from mocap, it might look a bit more weightless because it doesn't have this exaggeration that comes from animating it per hand.
Animation often is an exaggeration of reality. Realistic movement is sometimes far too subtle, so that's why you go in and push things. It might not be realistic, but it's effective.
Most of the time you have to tweak a lot, and very often you have problems, for example, with the foot. The foot is sliding, and also still we are in a cartoonish world, so we need exaggeration.
Like sometimes I notice how some scenes are way more hand animated and some scenes are way more influenced by motion capture. This scene right here, you really feel how little influence the cleanup artist has took on correcting the scene. The original physics are still here. You can really feel it with Ahsoka.
The little steps from her. If I had to start a shot, I would never think she does like several small steps instead of one big.
If you watched like making-offs of the first episode of Star Wars, you can see how Ray Park, he did all the stunts. You can just see the footwork of him in this character, and I think you couldn't see that in the old episodes.
It's really nice that they went with Ray Park because he knows the character and he knows how he moves. I think he also helped choreograph the fight. You really see it in the character.
Like I think like there's one move right in the beginning. It's like this is Darth Maul.
It's been cleaned up by animators because raw motion capture data is not usable. There's a lot of cleanup work that's happening behind the scenes. But the original movement is still really clear.
I love the smoke in the background, it's so nice. Despite these characters currently just talking and stuff, the smoke and the little embers add moving elements.
And also just like depth.
It's like symmetrical, that's so cool. But that's really fun that the blurriness of the lightsaber doesn't work like the rest of the blur. It makes it more comfortable to the eye.
The very graphic shapes make it easy to read. It also makes the sword feel way more bendy than it actually is. It's not just this, it curves,
exactly,
right? And that makes it so smooth. So smooth.
Also, like, it's a very nice contrast to episode 4 when like Obi-Wan fights against her and it's just like two old guys with a stick fighting each other, and it's like it's so stiff, and now it's so fluid.
Clone Wars is a perfect example why I think Star Wars works way better in animation than in live action. Obviously nowadays you can do so much VFX work, but still the exaggeration of the movements, the force, the acrobatics is something you can do so easily in animation and so believable, and then in live action it's just like we jump, we spin,
This one for me doesn't feel like a lot of weight because she immediately bounces back.
When you actually hit things, his arm shouldn't immediately go back this way, but it should actually like stay in place for like 1 or 2 more frames or something there.
You feel the original performance. If this was hand animated, you would probably have a frame here of his elbow, and the next frame is already hitting her, just because you exaggerate how fast the push is. Because this was motion captured and you can't actually hit your co-actor in the fucking face.
You can't.
You can't. It's not recommended. I think this has a bit to do with that Ray Parker didn't actually hit her. He didn't have any resistance on the elbow.
Yeah.
I love the windows. Can we quickly talk about the background?
Yeah.
It is like a motherboard. It looks so cool. The lines, it looks so technical.
The biggest part I think I appreciate about it being motion captured versus hand animated is that if you compare this scene to previous seasons, every time Ahsoka takes a jump or spins or flips, it feels really unrealistic. It's like, oh, what the fuck is this? And here we can really feel like, oh wow, that somersault was actually correct and felt real. It's sick.
Like from the momentum and everything. Also like this whole controversy, you block, why doesn't she just like switch off the lightsaber real quick?
And
then reactivate it? And it's like this whole like lore discussion, because like Jedis don't do it because it's forbidden, and Siths don't use it because they're too proud for it. And
oh
it's
my
like,
god, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is really cool.
The sparks are really nice.
You could see how exhausting and also kind of how scared she was. Like, this isn't an easy fight.
This is the perfect example of like, this doesn't feel like real physics. It's not even the high jump, it's more the like coming down doesn't feel like gravity is kicking in.
Floating for
but that's
moment.
the great thing about Clone Wars.
I also think it helps, like from a sound design perspective, like they added this little whoosh in there.
The force sound,
Oh my god.
The lines in this, look at this.
Oh my god.
Oh, why don't we get like this without him? I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Look at this.
But the composition is so nice.
And here too.
This is so nice. Everything is pointing towards her, and he's lit up with this nice rim light, and her lightsabers frame her. Ah!
It's so simple. It's just like a few beams, some city lights, but nothing else. It's just like their performance up there.
When we talk about composition, we kind of repeat ourselves all the time, because there is a very efficient way how movies are doing composition since ages. It's so good and so effective. The buildings, the character in the foreground, everything is telling Ahsoka is our point of interest.
This whole sequence is very well storyboarded. A fundamental of storyboarding is that if you have a shot where you see somebody in a full frame and then you punch closer, you usually try to make sure that it's not the same angle. So here we see her more from the right and more from the bottom. Because if it's just a punch in, it feels like a digital zoom in. You never talk about these things when it's done perfectly, because you don't notice it, but as soon as something is off, you complain about it.
This is wrong, this is not good.
So you need to praise shit like this.
Lightsabers are such a cool way to like put light on the characters.
I like how the lighting changed now that he's his lightsaber on again, and like now he's red and she's blue.
You can see that he doesn't really want to kill her. Like
I mean,
here he could have struck her.
He's disarmed her.
In this entire thing, you could see him holding back. Whenever he could actually kill her, he doesn't.
And here we can kind of see like how he is the more dominant character at the moment.
Why is he the more dominant one?
Because he's like, because he has the high ground. Okay. This is also a really effective use of composition. When you have a character looking down, then he seems more powerful.
Also, he's wearing a crown. I mean, his horns, but it looks like a crown.
This is such a nice frame. Just gives you a breather, and you really appreciate the scale of this and the danger and the stakes.
Just so clear, you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
I think this fight really does justice to like as a finisher for the whole next seven seasons.
Ahsoka is my queen. I love her so much. Good character design.
Yes.
I know many fans didn't like her when she got introduced because she was more of a brat, but like the character development, bro.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.